Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on MJ. It's been an insane 24 hours. So we had an all-out market dump with the bombing of the US base yesterday, a huge buy of the dip in futures trading. We opened higher in the market this morning. Trump comes on, talks about de-escalation. The market rips to all-time highs. Meanwhile, the MJ sector getting a little bit of life, but we have yet to change hourly trends on the Canadian MJ names, and as we know, that is a must to see any follow through. We also had a slew of headlines. We've got Mississippi officially on the 2020 ballot for recreational legalization. Cuomo coming out and saying he's going to legalize or do everything he can to legalize in 2020. Not a whole lot of new information on that headline. He's been saying that already a couple of times. We have Constellation Brands had their earnings. They're on CNBC after hours. That's a potential catalyst for CGC to see some nice mention. And then we had some bullish comments about acreage. I think that was from Constellation as well. Either way, handful of headlines, not all of them new information, but the market will take bullish headlines wherever it can get them at this point. And it ended up causing a little bit of a short squeeze with the amount of volume you see here on CGC. So this is regular trading hours, and we can see we've had plenty of bounces that all lead to lower lows. This bounce is different in the sense that number one, it's bigger. Number two, it has more bull volume behind it. And because it's bigger, we have more space for a higher low to try and form. So bulls are hoping this is a little bull flag into tomorrow. Bulls need to hold 1902 and break 2062 to change the trend. There were a couple nice opportunities for bears today. Just off the top of my head, the first was this 5-minute lower high after the dump first thing. So we dumped, nice little bounce, but it's on declining bull volume, so we know to be scouting a lower high compared to the high of the day. We then dropped a solid 2% plus from there. And the other bear play, overextended conditions, very overextended. Why 2062? Well, let's go back and look at our history. 2060, 2063 are 2 hourly resistances, and we rejected right in between those levels. So very overextended, heading into a clear little double top of hourly resistance is a good time to start scaling in for a short. All that being said, I do expect an hourly higher low to form tomorrow. The question remains, can we change the hourly trend, which would have us then zoom out and look at key resistance of 2165. We also have APHA earnings. There's 2 more trading days before APHA earnings, and that may dictate whether we see a daily trend change into the attempted weekly trend change or a lower high and a break of support. So it's going to be very important Monday pre-market to see what that reaction is, and be aware that if you're swinging any name in the MJ sector, that you are going to be subject to the APHA reaction to a certain degree. So here's where the bull volume kicked in on CGC today. And again, it's tricky to go straight from the low of the day to the high of the day and bounce 7%. It is tricky. You have to be sitting there scouting and saying, I'm going to enter on the first 5-minute trend change if you're going to be looking to capitalize on that move. There's the volume. And tomorrow will be interesting. Can we change the hourly trend? That's what it all boils down to. APHA, same thing. Hourly high or low into the end of the day. Have to hold ideally 474 and break 491 tomorrow to confirm the hourly trend change. And we're just going to be looking for a daily lower high compared to 536 as we head into earnings on Monday. TLRY, so our weak names bounced today as well. Some of them more than other. ACB still extremely weak. And let's look at ACB. So ACB, extremely weak. And it's the only MJ name, I guess VFF and ACB are the red names on my screen. CRON was pretty much break even. CWeb is red. Anyways, Lower high, lower low on any bounce. We're looking at anything under 227 to be a daily lower high. Lead Canadian MJ Bear in free fall still. And anytime we bounce, bears are going to be waiting for the daily lower high to try and make a re-entry. CRON. So CRON with a bear break of supports. This is a scenario where, as a trader, sometimes stop losses are frustrating. And newer traders say, I hate stop losses. I always get stopped out at the bottom before the bull move takes place. I'm not going to use them. And those traders don't last long. But it's the kind of scenario where we headed into this morning. I had an initial position from yesterday looking for a bounce and a shift of momentum after 4 or 5 clear bear days. And we ended up breaking 656 support. I did not add a position off of that support level because we started first thing this morning with weakness and I could see it was not likely for that support level to hold. So we broke that support. I gave the bulls a little bit of a chance. I didn't enter right away on that break. Gave them a little chance through the morning to try and see a shift. They didn't. I exited and took a loss. I took that loss fully knowing that we are likely to see the bulls show up in the very near term future and fully knowing that I might be selling right before that happens. Why did I still sell? Because if you're going to play this game for a decade and beyond, and if you're going to put yourself in positions where you could potentially see significant risk, you're not going to make it long in this game. So the scenario is I could either A, get stopped out at my level, which is my trade game plan, and have a day loser, which I can make back tomorrow, and I already made it back today, or I could not stop out, and in the instance where it's maybe the 1 in 10 chance where it's not the bounce that I expect and things get way more extreme than anticipated, and let's say we drop down to the low $6 range, now I have a week to a two-week loser, and I've given back my profit from the last 2 weeks, and I'm taking a huge step back. Again, I want my account to look like a stair-step pattern, just constantly higher lows and higher highs. And by keeping that loss small, I'm able to do so. So in the end, had I held, would I have been better off? Yes, but that is hindsight. I knew it was likely that I would be fine if I held, but in that 1 in 10 scenario where things get really ugly, I do not want to be in a trade without a game plan or a stop level because then my risk is unlimited. So CRON, like everybody else, needs an hourly trend change with a higher low and a higher high. I did trade CRON a few times today, just little flips, and I will be interested in higher lows in these names tomorrow. Let's see, who are we on? CTST, we're looking for a daily higher low to form. We need an hourly trend change for that to take place. We closed fairly weak. We would have to hold 101 and break 113 to change the hourly trend and give us a daily higher low. So not there yet, but watching for it in the next couple of days. See, we've got labs. VFF dropped and broke 540 support and saw a bounce. Need an hourly trend change there as well. This pullback is a bit more favoring an equilibrium. Pretty significant pullback from the high of the day. Looks like more than 4%. So bulls have to hold 537 and break 587 to change this hourly trend. Labs is trying to set a daily higher low. Have we changed the hourly trend? No. Bulls want to hold 368 and break 379 to change the hourly trend tomorrow. If we do, we'll say that's our daily higher low, and we'll then be looking for a daily lower high compared to 418 due to the size of the pullback. VLNS, nice bounce, but a big upper wick of profit taking. Have we changed the hourly trend? The answer is no. Have to hold ideally 325 and break 340 to see that happen tomorrow. So the theme is everybody needs hourly trend changes. OGI, weak bounce, anything under 250 is just a daily lower high. Hexo, weak bounce, anything under 168 is just a daily lower high. So on the weakest names in the sector, we're just looking for daily lower highs to be set. Everybody else needs hourly trend changes for any kind of meaningful follow through. APHA earnings Monday will dictate short-term direction. IIPR, I'm not going to trade IIPR. I sat there today looking for an entry. because I like this 4-hour setup for the potential of a higher low and bull break. But again, the volume is pitiful. There's a 0.5% spread between the bid and the ask. My trading style just does not do well with thinly traded illiquid names. If I were going to play it, I would enter today and put my stop under 75.72 and look for the break of 78.08 and 78.42 tomorrow, ideally. But multiple inside bars, tight range going to break soon. Cureleaf, big day. Big upper wick, though. That's new. Let's see what that looks like on the hourly. So profit taking into the end of the day. So daily support is now 761. And if the bulls can get over 838, they keep the hope alive for the potential of a weekly trend change. We would still have to break 937 to do so. But if we fail from here and break 760, then it's a weekly equilibrium. So 760 is now the line in the sand. If it breaks, weekly lower high is set, and the bulls have to hold 690 for the weekly higher low from there. OH trying to base out as well. Have to change the hourly trend. Nice move, but a little sell-off at the end of the day as well. You could call that an hourly trend change already taking place. So support is 538. And the bulls definitely want more follow-through off of this higher low into tomorrow. A little bit of a double top at the high of yesterday, 570, 574. The deal went through with OH and CL, so that's now official. And we're going to be tied to CL, tick for tick. And I have not read that press release, so go ahead and read that if you're trading these names. Hourly trend change on CL needed. Again, this illiquidity is just such a turnoff for me as a trader. Have to see a bull break of 823 tomorrow to say that our daily higher low is set. But with the size of this pullback, you could then talk about a head and shoulders pattern potentially forming. TRUL, nice oversold bounce. I didn't play it, but we did get a little bit of weakness first thing. And from the low to the high of the bounce, it did end up being a nice 5+%. And now we're going to look for a daily lower high. Bulls need follow through, ideally breaking 1368 tomorrow. And then we look for the lower high compared to 1549. Bulls are hoping that our weekly higher low can be set in this tightening range. IAN is all over the place with volatility. Thinly traded. So low of 167, high of 216, higher low of 175, and anything under 216 is a lower high. GTII, daily higher low convincingly set. Convincing bull volume. This is the best looking USMJ chart I've seen today. All about 1286 resistance. If you keep this volume up, it's definitely possible to see continuation from here. But if bull volume drops off, then we look for the equilibrium. So volume tomorrow will be pretty key for GTII. Harv is looking for the daily higher low. No hourly trend change yet. We have to break the high of today tomorrow. 386 has to break for the hourly trend change. Then we say the daily higher low is set if that takes place. MedMen, still sideways. Burden of proof remains on the bulls with every little move, just a daily lower high. So, some green out there. It's nice. Again, the market is in absolute bull euphoria mode, and MJ is still struggling a bit. So we'll be watching APHA earnings Monday. We need hourly trend changes in the Canadian MJ space tomorrow. If we don't get those, certainly a red flag, and bulls prove nothing to us. GTII shaping up as the best short-term USMJ name right now with the volume behind today's candle. And more proof is needed from bulls in the sector on the whole. Nice to see some headlines out there, but now we need price action, volume, and follow-through. Hope you're well. We'll end it here with some old school road trip discussion from who knows when ago. And we'll look for some fresh content. We got a Chart Guys meetup in Mexico in a week. So I'll have some fresh content at the end of the month. Until then, we'll recycle. Do good things. We'll see you tomorrow. Adventure time. We are headed to Vegas. This is Lake Mead, which is about a half hour outside of Vegas, I believe, which you certainly wouldn't expect just by looking at it. But a great spot to camp. I camped here and had a coyote experience where Certainly have heard coyotes off in the distance in the past, but man, when that sun went down and I'm out there by myself, and I swear there were 100 surrounding me, all doing their yipping and wailing that sounds like screaming, dying children. It was quite the experience. Certainly have never experienced anything like that before or since, but knowing that it was coyotes made me a little bit more comfortable. I certainly wasn't fearing them coming at me, but man, they are eerie. 2 days in a row, we got some eerie themes out there. So Lake Mead was pretty cool. Nice moon. And it's just a spot to hang out and cool off during the hot, arid day. But I was in Vegas, and I don't have any pictures of Vegas because I don't like Vegas at all. So I was visiting my friends. My buddy's there playing poker. I've been playing poker since high school. He and I played in college, and he was playing online full time. And he pretty much went poker, and I went technical analysis and stocks. And I tried to teach him when I was there, but he was more interested in poker. So we played together. And for those that are familiar with poker, my style, I do play some buy-in, but generally I would satellite in, $50 satellite to get into a $500 tournament and then hope to place in those tournaments. And the best part is, we're used to trading online or playing online, and you have to wait weeks or months to get your payouts, if you can even get them, if it's even, legal. And I have in the past, or someone I know in the past has paid 20% of my withdrawal from winning a tournament to someone in China to get the payout, transfer funds over to the US, and those are what we had to do to get our money. But here in Vegas, they legalized it in Nevada, so you could literally cash out and go same day to a casino and they would give you cash, which was unheard of. So we were playing for a while and having a good time and doing all right. And I hung out there for, like I said, a month. It was just a reset break, have a nice shower, have some good food, and have a bed to sleep in, and just explore around, because I could not, Las Vegas is pretty much, if you take everything wrong with humanity and you just put it in one, that's Las Vegas. It's a dirty, sad place. And you see all the glamour on TV and in the movies at the fancy places on the strip. But man, if you go to some of these smaller casinos and the poor souls that are stuck to those machines, it's very depressing. And if I didn't have spots like this to go to, I would not have lasted very long at all. I literally didn't go to the strip at night in Vegas once. I was there for a month, and I didn't go to the strip, and I have no regrets about that. That's just me personally. I'm not big for flashing lights and crazy stimulation and substance abuse and all that, but it was fun, kinda. This is Spring Mountain National Rec Area, another spot that's just right outside of Vegas. And I couldn't find a spot to camp that was flat, so I ended up sleeping on a hill. And of course, it was the first night I slept without my tent because I couldn't pitch it on a hill. And I slept without a tent all the time on my other road trip with my buddies. But the first time I sleep without a tent, this was months into the road trip, and of course it snows on me, but waking up, it was nice and magical. I pretty much just put myself against the base of a tree so I wouldn't roll down the hill. But still slept fine. Some awesome sunrises and sunsets out there. And I love it's almost like shopping for a house every night, where you're walking around and saying, all right, I can camp anywhere in this area. Where's the best view? Where's the sun going to rise? Where's the sun going to set? Where's the best spot to camp? And setting up a home base. So from here now, my buddy and I, who I was staying with, we are going to road trip back. This is as far west as I went, and then heading back east and going through Zion. I think we go to Zion National Park next, and then loop around, head through the south, through Texas, back to the east coast. Wrapping up the road trip, didn't have a whole lot. Pretty much moved really fast on the way home versus the way out there. And that's that. We'll see where we end up. Probably a couple more days on this road trip, maybe a couple more road trips after that. Short little picture series, and then I'm gonna have to start doing some videos again, and hopefully some spring planting. Got some garden planting parties going on tonight, so we're getting pumped for the spring, and I hope you are fantastic.